gamit siya. Ikaw sa kuya. Kaya?
the wreath laying ceremony to be officiated by the personnel of the Naga City Police Office, headed by City Director Police Colonel Gilbert Farinas. Ladies and gentlemen,
Luno, tuloy kamay.
the Philippine National Anthem.
Luno, kamay. Ha!
We will now proceed with the wreath laying ceremony to be led by the City Government of Naga, headed by our City Mayor, the Honorable Lenny Robledo, together with the members of the Sangguniang Panlungsod, our City Vice Mayor, the Honorable Gabriel H. Bordado Jr., our esteemed City Councilors, Councilor Jesse. The laying ceremony will be facilitated by Police Captain Jonathan Hapa. that concludes our read-lay sermon.
Bulaklak.
We thank the Naga City Police Office, headed by the City Director, Police Colonel Gilbert Farinas, and the City Government of Naga, headed by our City Mayor, the Honorable Lenny Robredo. We now proceed with the community flower offering. To be offered by the Schools Division Office of DepEd Naga, headed by the Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Susan S. Pulian. Next is the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, to be led by the Shrine Curator of Liceo de Jesse Robredo, Mr. Mark Anthony Jacob Glorioso. That concludes our community flower offering. With our tribute laid and our resolve renewed, let us now move as one body. We invite our city officials, members of the clergy, participating schools, and all our guests to begin the People's March from this Freedom Monument toward the Naga Metropolitan Cathedral. Together, let us walk in the footsteps of history.
kagilaan. Isa lang ang ugat na ating pinagmulan. Tayong lahat ay magkakalapit. Sa ulos at agos ay huwag padadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we request everyone to please settle down. We will begin our program in a short while. Ma'am Zaids. Ma'am Zaids.
May pag-asang natatanaw, may bagong araw, bagong umaga. Pagmamahal ng Diyos, isipin mo tuwing panahon na.
Anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution. As we begin this commemorative program, may we request everyone to please rise and unite our hearts in prayer for the invocation to be led by the Naga City Hall Choral. We may now be seated. The spirit of EDSA endures most powerfully in the hands of the youth. those who inherit both the freedoms won and the responsibilities that came with them. To reflect on the role of young leaders as guardians of our shared democratic space, we respectfully call on the acting City Youth Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Jamin Phoebe Sabaybay.
Former Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines and now the City Mayor of Naga, the Honorable Maria Leonor Herona Robredo, Sangguniang Panglungsod of Naga, headed by the City Vice Mayor and Presiding Officer, the Honorable Gabriel H. Bordado Jr., Police Colonel Gilbert Fariñas, City Director of the Naga City Police Office, Fire Chief Inspector Josephine Janet C. Barandon, City Fire Marshal of Bureau of Fire Protection Naga, Jail Chief Inspector Ralph Vincent M. Bobis, Warden of the Naga City District Jail, Male Dormitory, Jail Chief Inspector Edita A. Kipte, Warden of the Naga City District Jail, Female Dormitory, Mr. Mark Anthony Jacob Glorioso, Shrine Curator 2 of Museo ni Jesse Robredo, Reverend Father Francis J. Tordilla, Rector of the Holy Rosary Minor Seminary, Reverend Father Erwin Bismonte, Assistant Director of Caritas Archdiocese of Cáceres, Reverend Father Domingo Florida, Rector of Naga Metropolitan Cathedral, Mr. Elmer Villanueva, Local Government Operations Office of the Department of Interior and Local Government, and Mr. Elmer Santo Domingo, President of the Naga City People's Council. 40 years ago, history bent toward justice on a long stretch of highway we now remember not just a road, but as a symbol. On Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, ordinary citizens accomplished the impossible. They stood unarmed before tanks, faced fear with faith, and chose courage over silence. The whole world came to call it the EDSA People Power Revolution, a peaceful uprising that restored democracy and reminded humanity that the true source of power is not in the Malacanang Palace, but the people themselves. Workers, nuns, priests, students, jeepney drivers, farmers, laborers, and parents carrying children on their shoulders. 40 years ago, the nation's conscience was awakened. EDSA People Power was not merely the fall of a regime under Ferdinand Marcos Sr., nor only the rise of new government under Corazon Aquino, following the assassination of Benigno Aquino Jr. It was not simply replacing national leaders. It was about reclaiming the commons. Everything that belongs to all Filipino people and must be protected by all Filipino people. Our freedom, our democracy, our institutions, our collective memory, and our future. 40 years later, we must ask not only what EDSA achieved, but what it entrusted to us. Because the struggle for justice, freedom, and accountability did not die in 1986. It evolved. Unlike 4 decades ago, today's injustice rarely announces itself with curfews and soldiers. It appears as disrupted public trust, corruption hidden in paperwork, inequality justified as inevitability, and lies replacing truth. Today, we see injustice when public funds meant for classrooms disappear, while students have to endure the struggle of studying in overcrowded classrooms. We see injustice when an ordinary family is one health emergency away from bankruptcy. We see injustice when farmers feed the nation yet remain hungry. We see injustice when workers sustain the economy yet can't sustain their own families. We see injustice in environmental destruction that threatens communities that least contributed to it. These injustices are quieter than a dictatorship, but are no less damaging to our country. Dismantling a system founded on misuse of power demands collective effort, transcending generational differences. In confronting them, the youth are implored to take a big space of becoming guardians of the commons, not only through protest, but through creation. Because power does not only operate through laws and weapons. It operates through stories, narratives, images, culture, and imagination. And this is where your talents matter. I myself have walked in the streets of this city, using my talent as a theater performer to remind people of the horrors of martial law. I have used my talent to write poems about it. Through my ability to creatively tell the tales of our history, I was able to contribute to awakening the consciousness of the people watching me. People who became not just spectators, but witnesses to our realities. I did not do it for the spectacle, but I did it knowing that not every youth, not every young person will stand at a barricade, but every young person stands somewhere, in a classroom, a studio, a stage, a laboratory, a keyboard, a community, a field of expertise. Wherever the youth may stand, they can guard what is ours. Art sparks and immortalizes the stories and struggles of our own community. If you are an artist, your canvas can challenge forgetting. The murals you create can reclaim public spaces from political apathy. The illustrations you make can humanize statistics and numbers. Visual art can remind us that behind every policy failure is a human face. If you are a writer, your words are powerful in documenting truths that others would rather erase. Essays, poems, journalism, research papers, and even social media posts can become archives of conscience. If you are a musician, your songs can unite people. You can unite people across divisions, give language to grief, and turn hope into something we can hear and share as a nation. If you are a filmmaker, photographer, or content creator, your lens can expose realities that statistics and numbers alone cannot capture. Displacement, resilience, injustice, and dignity. If you are a theater practitioner, you carry one of the oldest democratic traditions, performance as a public reflection. If you are a teacher or a student, education itself is nation building. Every mind awakened to critical thinking becomes harder to manipulate. If you are studying science or technology, innovation can serve and safeguard accountability through data transparency, anomaly detection, disaster preparedness, environmental protection, and equitable development. If you are an entrepreneur, you can prove that profit and social responsibility need not to be enemies. And if you are simply a concerned citizen, just like me, never underestimate the quiet power of integrity in your everyday life. Rejecting corruption, refusing bribery, respecting public spaces, helping neighbors, and participating in community decisions. Because guardianship, my fellow young people, is not a job title. It is a moral responsibility. Art in particular has always been the pulse of democratic movements. During times of repression, art kept us alive when speech was dangerous. Protest songs, underground publications, political cartoons, street theater, and symbolic imagery sustained collective memory when official narratives tried to erase it. Even at EDSA, people did not only bring prayers and banners. They brought culture, songs, rosaries, humor, human connection. Over 4 days, Filipinos transformed a mere highway into a community, a very big one. But talent alone is not enough. Talent must be anchored in responsibility, genuine responsibility. Art can enlighten, but it can also manipulate. Media can inform, but it can also distort. Technology can liberate, but it can also surveil. The question is not whether the young generation or the youth are talented. You are. The question is whether talent will serve truth or convenience, justice or spectacle, the public good or private gain. To be a guardian of the commons is to choose service over self-glorification. Because the common includes not just resources, but relationships, trust between officials and citizens, and solidarity across differences. Without these, democracy becomes apathetic and fragile. 40 years ago, young Filipinos proved that they could help oust a dictatorship. Today, you must prove you can help build a just society patiently, creatively, and persistently. Because accountability is not maintained only by outrage. It is maintained by participation. Participation in elections, in community life, in public discourse, cultural creation, and nation building, even at the city level. And most importantly, participation in remembering our history. For memory itself is part of the commons. When memory is forgotten or distorted, the public loses its compass, its moral compass. When truth becomes negotiable, injustice becomes repeatable. Remembering EDSA is to truthfully defend the possibility of a better future. To my fellow youth of Naga City and this country, do not wait for permission to care about your country. Do not wait to be older, richer, or more powerful before you act, because history shows that transformation often begins with those who are told they are too young to matter. You matter now, and your refusal to be indifferent matters to us all. 40 years ago, Filipinos reclaimed democracy through collective courage. Our generation must sustain it through collective responsibility. Let us honor EDSA not only by looking back, but by looking around at the injustices that persist, the communities that struggle, the institutions that need strengthening, and the opportunities to serve. May we leave this commemoration of EDSA not only inspired, but activated, each according to our gifts, our talents, each according to our values in life and conscience, each according to our capacity to care for our country. Because people power was never meant to be a single moment in our history. It was meant to become a permanent culture of accountability and fight for democracy. Maraming salamat, mabuhay ang kabataang Pilipino, mabuhay ang demokrasya, mabuhay ang sambayan ng Pilipino.
Thank you very much, Acting City Youth Mayor Phoebe Sabaybay, for reminding us that the flame of freedom is brightest when carried by the next generation. Democracy is strengthened not only by courage, but by discernment, formed through education that cultivates truth integrity, and critical thought. To guide us in this reflection, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome the school's Division Superintendent of DepEd Naga, Dr. Susan S. Coliano.
Thank you for this stage. Kailan kaya ako mag-share ng stage na Mrs. Bicolandia na lang ang role ko? Sorry about that. The Honorable City Mayor Leni Robredo, the Honorable Vice Mayor Gabby Bordado, of course, the distinguished and honorable members of the Sangguniang Panlungsod of Naga, the city youth officials, of course, the Reverend Fathers who are here. Sorry po, hindi ko na iisa-isahin. University presidents and representatives of the education sector, may kapamilya sa DepEd Naga City, other government officials representing the different sectors, media personalities, to all our peace and democratic-loving citizens of this country. Very good morning po sa inyong lahat, with special greetings to our students, because my topic is actually for the students. It is always a privileged opportunity to speak in celebrations like this. Not because this podium is very powerful and reserved for a few, but more so because I carry the weight, the immense weight of conveying a message strong enough to somehow and hopefully call people to action. Admittedly, the topic, teaching critical thinking in the face of structural corruption challenges, is a challenge in itself. Structural corruption, bold and daunting in form and substance, is as sensitive as any item in the discussion table. And it would, of course, invite both healthy discussion and that of dissent. Baka makasama ko sa empirical evidence na nagsasabing hindi kailangan ng podium, kasi kahit walang podium, kung BO-BO ang nagsasalita, no takeaway can be brought home. An analogy lang po. Viral kasi yan sa mga teachers. In fact, nung dumalaw po si President sa JMR, may nag-ambush interview sa akin. Sabi niya, tatanungin lang kita, ma'am, ano masasabi mo yung pagdalaw dito ni Presidente? Sabi ko, okay, no problem. Nung nagro-roll ng camera, inulit niya, ma'am, tatanungin lang kita ha, anong masasabi mo sa pagdalaw dito ni Presidente? Pero pwede mamang may comment about doon sa sinabi ni Professor. Sabi ko, no thanks. I would answer, I love all our teachers. Anyway, teaching the concepts and even the principles of critical thinking is actually easy. It is in fact a major, a prerequisite, mandated competency well in our curriculum. But it is a big question whether what is taught is what is applied. In the face of structural corruption, I could not help but put my shoe in the place of an elementary grade learner who does not have any schema about this form. But sadly, as we all know it, it is entrenched in many institutions. In fact, some say it is already endemic in the systems. All the more, it becomes compelling to aggressively teach critical thinking and make it a core strength that should be an antidote to hypocritical thinking in all others relative to that. if I were to actually teach, assignment sa akin teaching hindi na ako nagtuturo. But if I were to actually teach the skill, I would have used that viral clip of no less than our mayor, the President Vince Dizon, which were put into a kind of ensemble. And one is playing the, ano ba yun? May nagda-drum and etc. Diba? Looking at it, it seems to be very real, especially if you don't know these people. It would be a very good springboard to teach critical thinking. Unethical or illegal practices, any forms of corruption like bribery, patronage, kickbacks, nepotism are not just isolated incidents, but practices that have deeply embedded in the rules of the game and in the daily operations of our society and institutions. Recent events, in fact, like the flood control scandal, have hit our hard and in an unimaginable scale of unfaithfulness and deception. It is so unfair sa mga lumalaban ng patas, wika nga, at sobrang nakakahiya sa ating mga mag-aaral. In fact, many times, in deep thoughts, I couldn't help but utter, somehow, somewhere, education has failed. Speak emphatically with our dear students. My dear students, to teach critical thinking is to let you understand the power it carries. Critical thinking is the power of the mind. It is about a power greater than wealth, greater than armies, greater even than governments. It is same power that fueled the people power revolution at EDSA, demonstrated 40 years ago. But it is the same power that finds and takes relevance, importance, and of course, the convincing power today and throughout our lifetime. Naalala ko, nasa pagsasaling wika kami noon na subject. At ang pinasasalin sa amin ay nag-example ang teacher namin na i-describe ang teacher. Sabi ng isa kong kaklase, our teacher is beautiful. Isalin sa Filipino. Sabi ng aking kaklase, ang aming guro ay maganda. Ulitin, sabi nung isa namin, maganda.